Welcome to Let's Get Into It. I am your host, Sherelle Higgins. Let's Get Into It is a safe space to have real conversations that are meant to uplift, encourage, and let you know you are not the only one dealing with life. Each episode of Let's Get Into It is designed to provide illuminating and thought-provoking information on a variety of topics. In fact, no topic is off limit. If you would like to see a topic discussed, please feel free to make a recommendation. My special guest and I will have a great time discussing topics that the mainstream media wouldn't dare discuss. We will bring these conversations to you with an open mind, respectfully, from different perspectives, and most importantly, with love. Thank you for joining me and my special guest. Now, let's get into it. Hello, everybody. Sorry, I am a few minutes late. I am having some serious technical difficulties here. If it's not one thing, it's another. The devil is busy. My laptop stopped working all of a sudden, and so I had to try to navigate this on my tablet, and the tablet doesn't have the same features set up like on the laptop, and so there you have it. It's just always something. But here we are. Welcome to another episode of Let's Get Into It. I am your host, Sherelle Higgins, and I am excited to be doing this show on Halloween. I hope all of the kids go out and trick or treat safely and enjoy themselves. Parents, if you indulge in adult beverages, take your cup with you. You will need to pack your patience, and that cup will help you with your patience as you navigate your neighborhoods and trick or treat safely. Also, I wanted to take just a few minutes to encourage people to vote. We have 5 more days. The last day to vote is Tuesday, November 5th. I don't care what anybody tell you. I don't care what you receive in the mail. Please know that the last day to vote is November the 5th. Please go out, let your voices be heard, and really think about who is the right candidate for you and those that you love. Think about it from a bigger perspective than yourself. And so, if you think about it from a bigger perspective, there are lots of people out here in this country who are less fortunate than we are. And so, we can't just vote for our own interests. We got to think about the greater good. And so, I would like to encourage everyone to exercise their right to vote. And so today I have a special guest who's going to be joining me shortly. And my special guest is Envizion, the blind sensation. This is a remarkable man, and he's going to share his journey with us. And we are going to get to know him better. He is a musical artist, and I am going to encourage you all to follow him on social media, download his music. I really like his music. I was jamming to it today, so much so that I was at the hair salon and I was supposed to be under the dryer, and I was sitting in the chair where I was supposed to be under the dryer, and I was so busy bobbing to the music that I forgot to put the dryer hood down on my head. And so I was there for about 15 minutes before I realized I was actually supposed to be under the dryer. And so I eventually figured out what I was supposed to be doing, and I continued to jam to his music while I was under the dryer. And so I'm going to bring my guest to the stage. Envision. Envision, are you there?
656.
Yeah, I'm here. We still getting it in order.
Okay. You're in the dark room,
I
and
got you.
so we can't see you, but we hear you just fine. I know you are working through your technical challenges as well, and so we are going to ask the audience to have some patience with us, give us some grace today. For some reason, we are not having the best day when it comes to technology, but that's okay. Um, oh, there you are. That's okay. We're gonna work through it, and we're gonna get through it. because
Right.
you know what they say, God will lead you to it so he can get you through it. And so he is going to get us through this uh, short delay that we have, but it's all good. Welcome, Envision.
Here we go. We here?
Yes, we are.
All right, man. Give me 2 seconds.
Welcome to Let's Get Into It.
Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you.
Okay, so Envision, we're just going to kind of set the stage and let the people know kind of a little bit about your background so that they can
Okay.
get to know you. And so, Envision, tell
hmm
us, where did you grow up?
So I grew up in Waldorf, Maryland. In between there, DC and Philadelphia, where my mother is from.
Okay.
hmm
And I know you are a graduate, a 2016 graduate of Bowie State
Yes, yes.
University. And
Uh-huh.
so Bowie State is an HBCU. So talk
Yeah.
to us about what made you choose to go to an HBCU.
Well, what made me choose to go to HBCU was, I mean, one of the facts was that I got accepted. You know what I'm saying? There was no fight. You know what I'm saying? I got into the school, and I like the colors of Bowie. When I got the acceptance letter, it was just I felt proud. It was close to home, not like super duper close, but close enough. You know what I'm saying? Closer than some of the schools that other people's travel to go to. And I also knew some people who graduated from that university, so I didn't feel, I didn't feel that it was a bad school. I felt like it was a good look.
Okay, now you know I have to ask you this question. Why not Virginia State University?
I mean, my mom went there.
Yes,
I wanted to, have my own legacy and do my own thing for real, for real. So that was
understood.
pretty.
Understood. Neither of my kids went to Virginia State either, so I get it.
Yeah.
And it's all good. So your stage name is Envision,
Yes.
the blind sensation.
I mean, that's
Tell
that's what
us.
some people call me.
Okay, all right. Well, we'll go with it. I like it.
Yeah.
So tell me how and why that name. How you got that name? How you started with that name, and why that name?
All right. So initially, I think I was doing a feature song with one of my boys, and we tried to put the song out. And initially, my artist name was going to be Vision, just Vizion.
Mm-hmm.
However, that name was already taken. So when we tried to put the song up, they kicked it back. And I was like, dang, I felt defeated. But I was like, you know what? How about we just go with Envision? It just came out of nowhere, like while we were in the studio type thing. And so I don't know. It just flowed that way. And because it just really tells how I live my life for real, for real. Like I have to envision everything,
Okay.
just being blind and not being blind from birth. I'm able to apply certain things that I've seen and create a image, what I'm saying, in my mind. So when I go places and hear certain things, I know what a home looks like. I know what a school looks like. I know what a mall looks like and things of that nature. And I also remember colors too. Because what I'm saying,
Okay.
there's some blind people who don't know how to identify with color because they've never seen it or they haven't seen it in so long that what I'm saying, they don't know where to go for real. So
Okay.
for me, it was envision just really is all encompassing of my life for real.
Okay. You said that you were not born blind. Uh,
No.
do you mind if I share with the audience the question I asked you?
Mm-hmm. Go ahead.
So when I was talking to Envision to ask him to be on the show, I'm always trying to be mindful of speaking correctly and not offending people. And the way that terminology changes every day in this country, you just don't really know what's offensive and what's not. And so I asked him, "How would you like to be described?" And I sent that in the text message, and he called me. He said, "Call me." And so I called him, and he said, "Well, what do you mean?" I said, "Well, I know you're unsighted." And he was
No,
like, "No,
you
I'm
said
blind."
visually impaired.
Uh, I know, I think I said unsighted.
Jesus Christ,
And
unsighted
he
is
was like,
that's
"No, I'm
wicked.
blind." I said, "Okay, well, there you have it then." I don't
Yeah.
have to.
There's so many people that go, and try to like tiptoe around the word blind.
Mm-hmm.
when honestly, that's what I am. And anybody that is blind, that's what we are. And it's not a there's no type of, it's not a name calling. You know what I'm saying? It's not
Yeah.
anything that we can take negatively, because if you tell me I'm visually impaired, but I don't smoke weed and I'm not drunk, what's impairing my vision?
That's a good way to look at that. I hadn't thought
Yeah. So
about
I'm
that.
just blind.
Okay, and I love that because it
Hmm.
really makes it easier and make people feel more comfortable in ensuring that they're not being offensive. So that really helped me, and I got a chuckle out of that because I was trying to be politically correct, and
Right.
there was no need for it. And
Yeah.
so you mentioned that you were not born blind,
Hmm.
and so you want to talk to us a little bit about how you lost your sight?
Sure. I'm gonna explain it two ways. So, wow. Thinking back during that time, it was an exciting time for me. Really because one of my band members, he had recently come out the hospital because he was shot.
Mm,
And I was expecting to meet him that night because we had two shows. And that weekend, my brother, he was still in high school, so I was coming home to help him prepare for prom. Like I got ready. And
mm-hmm.
so earlier that morning, we had gone to the barber shop and everything. Well, that afternoon, and there was some talks in my neighborhood and surrounding areas about some violence that had gone on, regarding a group of people that I hung with,
Uh-huh.
that they didn't do anything, but they ended up, some other people ended up harming somebody that I knew from my high school that had nothing to do with us.
Okay.
And it burned me up, and I wasn't necessarily trying to be Superman, but I was. And just standing up for people that aren't a part of that type of walk, it just pissed me off. So we were at the gas station across the street from my house eating, and the dude walked in there. He walked up to me like everything was cool and tried to dap me up. And I didn't. I just looked at him and looked away and started eating my food. So the temperature was kind of set from there, and
Mm-hmm.
so we kind of knew what time it was. So we went back across the street and were approaching him as if we were about to fight. He had some other people with him, so that's what we thought. And he ended up shooting me.
Mm.
And so after I got home from the hospital and everything and got back in church and everything, there was a woman named Rochelle that was she worked with the youth at Spirit of Faith, and she asked me to be a part of a song called So in Love. Now, she didn't know what I was going to write, right? Like the song was
Mm-hmm.
just talking about how you so in love with Jesus, but because it's females and a male on the song, people didn't know whether it was gospel or it was, R&B.
Mm-hmm.
And so I wasn't singing in studio yet. So I didn't know how to do that. I loved to rap. And it was always at the 11th or 12th hour when I would come up with my verse. And one day when I was on my way to bed, it literally just came to me. And I said, Lord, now if it wasn't for you, I'd be sorry behind bars or locked away in a tomb. See, for a while I was doing whatever. They say birds of a feather flock together. That's when the devil has room. But see me, I could have been dead and gone. Came
Mm.
home on weekend to get my brother ready for prom. We stopped at the store to eat and seen somebody we disliked, took it across the street, and we was prepared for a fist fight. We started walking towards him, but he had a gun in his hand. I blacked out. He shot once. My brothers turned back and ran. 16 that he popped. It was 15 that he missed. Everybody thought Zay was dead and he would truly be missed. See, he shot me right in my dome in the front of my home with a 9 millimeter chrome, and now my vision is gone. But my father kneeled and told me, son, pray to the Lord. And I said, Jesus, 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 I need you. And yeah, that pretty much summed up the story.
Okay, you just blew me all the way away with that. That is so beautiful the way that you are able to put that into a song. One of the things we're gonna talk about a little later when we talk about your music is
Uh-huh.
I love your rap style. So we're gonna talk about that.
Okay.
But yeah, that's awesome that you have put that into a song. So let's talk a little bit about the journey, right?
Okay. Hmm.
Going from being sighted to blind.
All right.
And so, what, the transition, because one of the things I like to do for my audience is I like to, first of all, let them know that they're not the only ones going through something. And if,
Right.
and with the level of violence that we have in our inner cities, there are many people who watch this show who have either experienced it themselves or know somebody who has. And
Mm-hmm.
so, I want to talk a little bit about your journey and how you were able to navigate and come to accept your new reality.
I'm gonna start by saying God is so good,
Mm,
and when I say that, I mean the way that He crafted us, like the way that He created us, and the way that He allowed us to be so adaptable. God covered me from the moment before I got shot, I believe. Because if you remember in my rap, I said I blacked out. He shot once. I got so angry that I saw nothing. So me not knowing that I was shot, right? In my mind, I am whooping on this boy,
mm,
literally fighting him. Like, and I was not losing. There's a light post. I had them posted up. Like if you could look at a movie and see somebody, whooping on somebody that's up against the wall or something, like it was
mm,
going down. You know what I mean? And
mm-hmm,
just knowing that I was not living right, but I was still able to fight through
mm,
it with
mm-hmm.
the help of the Lord is crazy. So um I always say that I felt like at that moment I was fighting death and I was winning. Right?
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah. So I didn't know that I was shot. My dad was talking to me. He was home because he had ruptured his Achilles tendon. So he told me that when he was listening to the shots, they don't be shooting guns like that in Wardorf during that time. So he thought somebody was lighting on fireworks. 16 that he popped, it was 15 that he missed. You see what I'm saying?
Yes.
So we let go of every bullet that was in that gun.
Mm,
And I believe he hit me with the first one because what dummy is gonna continue to walk through something like he Luke Cage? Like that's not me.
right.
So um basically when I came to in the hospital, you know, I'm listening to everything and I'm not knowing that like it's just no way that I know that I'm in the hospital because I didn't think that I was living a life that deserved me getting shot. Right.
Mm, mm-hmm.
And so when I woke up, the way that our senses work, if you can't see, you imagine. You get what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
I'm literally visualizing what's going on coming through my ear gate. And so I hear all this beep, beep, orders being given. I thought I was in McDonald's. And
Mm,
anybody that came to visit me in the hospital knew that McDonald's was like a running theme for weeks. Like I was McAwesome, it was McLovely, it was a lot of things going on. And it was all because of what I could hear. And I woke up, I asked my dad, I said, Dad, what we doing in McDonald's? He like, we're not in McDonald's, son. You was shot. And I said, shot? And I just blew him off like whatever. So he asked my brother to come over, and you know what I'm saying. He hollered at me. He's like, "Yeah, remember when we saw so and so at the gas station, and we went back across the street to go fight?" He was like, "Yeah, he shot you." I'm like, "So what are we still sitting here for? Let's go get him!" Like, then I'm turned up. I'm pissed off. I'm like, "How could somebody do this to me?" And memories like that, I feel like I was just like awakened in a sleep, awakened in a sleep.
mm-hmm.
So when I think back, like the next page that turned, I woke up leaning on my mom, and it hit me like you really are alive. Like, I was touching on my arms and stuff like that, and I still didn't know I couldn't see,
Mm,
but this overwhelming feeling of just like appreciation and gratefulness came upon me, and I just started crying because I'm like, wow, like you really don't understand the love of God until you really understand it, like. And that was my understanding of it completely. I felt rescued, I felt saved, I felt all of these different things, and I didn't feel like he turned his back on me. You get what I'm saying? And I
yes.
was so appreciative. So coming out of that, I was in like Baltimore shock trauma. So they ended up sending me to the, I think it was the National Rehab, some rehab hospital in DC.
Mm-hmm.
And even then, I didn't know I couldn't see until don't remember how. I guess when I started undergoing like occupational and speech therapy and things of that nature, I didn't need the speech. I really didn't need none of them. That's how I felt. I used to treat them
Okay.
people so bad. If anybody's watching, I'm so sorry the way I treated y'all. I was so independent. Like, leave me alone. Um, However, I learned little things.
Okay.
I learned little things there, but my dad was so hopeful. Everyone was so hopeful, and there was blood that was behind my eyes. So there was a surgery that I had to undergo once I left the rehab hospital, and I knew that I couldn't see at that moment, but I only thought that it was blood behind my eyes that was blocking my vision or my
Oh.
sight, I should say. And
Mm-hmm.
so when I woke up from the surgery and got home, they put these big goofy glasses on me. I guess to block out the light. I felt, you know what I'm saying, like Morpheus or somebody.
Okay.
And I got to the hospital, I mean, got to the hotel. And when I woke up the next morning, I just expected to wake up and crack my eyes open in the sunlight just beaming,
Mm.
and it didn't happen.
Okay.
And I wanted to panic so bad, but it's just like God's grace was so heavy upon me that I couldn't move myself to get defeated. I couldn't move myself to be depressed. So I just pressed on.
Okay.
And in that, um, life just had to be lived at that moment. I just used to say, like, I'm here. My sight is gone, but I'm still here. And that was one of the biggest things that kept me knowing that I wasn't dead. People acted like my life was over. Like it was, I'm like, bro, but I'm still able to experience things. When I
Right.
came home from the hospital, I got out the car and walked in the house on my own. Yeah, I went to my room and went straight to sleep, but I still was able to get around.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't remember having a surgery like that since I was young and had a hernia, like, and then my dad carried me in the house. But just being able to still have the activities of my limbs and to have the memory to make it through my own home, being blind didn't hit me until I sat on my bed and I couldn't see my bedroom.
Okay.
So I could do everything until I got home. And once I got home is when I felt like the enemy was trying to come for my mind.
Oh, wow. And so you said something that's important. We have people asking questions in the chat.
Okay. Okay.
So you'll hear me ask you a question that's coming from the chat. But
Um,
one question was, how old were you when you got shot?
I was 18.
Okay,
18
18.
going on 19.
Okay. And so as a part of that journey, you were saying that, when you lost your sight, other senses kicked in
Mm-hmm.
more. And
Yeah.
so, and you talked about the vision that you have in your mind because
Mm.
you've seen the world, you've seen some things, and so you can,
Right.
identify with those things. And so, with your journey, um, you decided, at what point did you decide that not only were you not going to let this impact your quality of life, but you were going to lean into it and really kick your music career, get your music career really going at that point?
Okay. So those two things, like getting life started and getting music started, happened so many years apart from each other.
Mm-hmm.
So to answer the first portion of the question, when did I decide to get my life into gear? Is when I was sitting on my bed trying to like really gather the fact that I can't see, right?
Mm-hmm.
Thinking like, is this going to be forever? How am I going to do this? Just asking the questions, not trying to overwhelm myself, but then just feeling like I was by myself in darkness.
Mm-hmm.
There was almost like a slideshow that I felt like the devil was trying to introduce me to scare me of being blind. Like, yeah, you stuck in darkness, so I must provide all these evil, nasty looking images in your mind so that you can be scared and fearful.
Mm.
And I really feel that once I called on the name of Jesus and that thing disappeared, and then I went outside and was able to experience all that God had outside for me, like, you know what I'm saying? Cars driving by that I could hear, birds chirping, and people and all this life being lived outside of that enclosed space. Because if you sit too much in a room, the walls start to close in on you.
Right.
So once I was able to go outside and I called on the name of Jesus and that thing went away, I'm like, oh yeah, we got an army with us for real, for real. Like I just had this inner like this inner being, this inner feeling of peace and strength that I feel like I never had. I used to be a chicken when I was growing up, scared of the dark, cut the light on downstairs and be running upstairs to get to my room and stuff like that. We've all been there. I'm just not afraid to say it, okay?
I know that's right.
I feel like I'm more brave blind than I ever was with sight.
Oh wow, that's powerful.
Seriously. So that is what really got me going in life. And then I committed to go back to school that same year. Like so I got shot in the spring and I was right back in school fall semester.
Okay, that's
So that
determination.
yeah, that drove me. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't trying to graduate with my little sister and them. Like that would make me feel too bad. So So yeah, so graduating with my peers was a goal that kept me pushing and just really sticking to my plans. My older sister, Aisha, is probably one of the most goal oriented people that I've ever known in my life. Like just the way that she led her life with all of the aspirations that she had after high school, it set an example for me to really stick to my plan and not deviate from it. And
Okay.
so during college, I'm trying to think of when I started recording. Because I think I started recording in college, but one of my boys, he's actually my manager. His name is Money Mark. We came up in go-go together, and he and I were always the musical songbirds of the group, able to hear just on a different level, a different frequency. And we just was real tight ever since we met each other. And we started linking up after he came home from Eastern Shore and I'm, home from Bowie and stuff like that. And he told me, he said, bro, go-go is not gonna be it for you. Yeah, there's a glass ceiling over your head. You may be able to see straight through it, but once you get to the top, it ain't no leaving. And I'm not about to allow you to sit here on this gift that you have. I know you say you never wrote a song singing, but you come into my house, we're gonna go to the basement, I'm gonna cut some music on, some beats, and you're
Mm.
gonna write you a song. And I said, okay. I'm in this passenger seat, like, I mean, I can't jump out the car while it's moving. so so we pulled up at the spot. His sister was there and he turned on a beat. And the first beat I heard that I liked was the beat of my first song I put out called Nonstop. That guitar riff, boom, 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 it was just the and I'm like,
I like that beat.
now that's sexy.
Yes. Look, we I can't wait. We're gonna get ready to get into this conversation about this music you have because,
Yeah.
but before we do all of that,
Hmm.
um, I know you grew up in the DMV area,
Yeah.
DC, Maryland, and Virginia. For those that's not from this area, and the genre of music that everybody listens to is go-go. So
Yeah.
I have to assume that you are a fan of go-go, having
I'm
grown
a
up in this
go-go.
area.
I'm a go-go connoisseur. I'm a go-go. I feel like pioneer. Like I'm the only blind person in go-go right now. So I hold a
Mhm.
heavy stake in this genre. You know what I'm saying? And I
Yes.
love go-go. Like go-go is a part of my core. Like I love it. I used to go to go-go's against my parents' will. You know what I'm
Mm,
saying? Like I
yes.
really, man, I came up on go and it was just so fun. Like the culture, the community, and everything before it got all violent and stuff. Um, yeah, man, so I'm in a go-go band. I'm in a couple go-go bands. As a matter of fact.
And so, what go-go bands are you in? Because my husband is a avid go-go lover, and
Okay.
when I first came to Virginia, I had never heard of go-go before,
Right.
and it took me a while to really start to appreciate it. And
Mm-hmm.
now I don't know, I can't say that I like it as much as you or my husband, but I do
Mm-hmm.
like go-go music.
Right.
Um, and so, what go-go bands? So
So
in case people in the audience, in case they see the band being played, they know you're gonna be a part of it, and we can come
yeah.
support you.
So on the bounce beat circuit, my band is ABM,
Okay.
and that stands for All About Money.
Okay.
And then I play the drums for an up and coming band called Certified, right? And
Mm-hmm.
then on the crank circuit side, I play for a band called Checkmate. I was recently a part of a band called Major League too, but hustlers gotta hustle, so we make it do what it do.
I know that's right.
Yeah,
And so there's a lot of different circuits I see on Go Go. See, you just
right.
educated me on something because I just
Hmm.
thought it was all the same. Um,
Because who's your husband's favorite band?
maybe Junkyard,
Yeah,
EU,
see that's before my time.
Rare
I
Essence.
can appreciate all of those bands, but that's a little before my time.
Okay. All right. So
Yeah,
what somebody question says, how old are you now?
32.
Okay, 32. Things we take for granted. Yes, the things we take for granted. Um, and so, um, who were your musical influences?
Starting out, my mom, her choir director Philip Freeman. Um, who else? Trying to think. Um, I like so many different singers. I like Tank. I like Kiki Wyatt, Jasmine Sullivan, Kim Burrell. There's so many gifted voices. Luther Vandross, Zacardi Cortez. So it kind of goes between R&B and gospel for real,
Hmm.
for real. Yeah,
And
I love feel good music.
yeah, and that's how I felt listening to your music today.
I
It,
appreciate
it
that.
really is. And one of the things I think is missing in the music that we have to choose from today is that old school R&B, sing along, you know,
Music with a
not
message,
yes, not terribly yeah, with a message and not, overly
profane.
profane, violent,
Hmm.
all
Right,
of that kind of stuff.
right.
Um, and so with you mentioned that you played the drums.
Uh-huh.
And what other do you play any other instruments?
Yeah, I could play the congos. I could play the timbales, which is also like the timbales are a Latin percussion instrument, but they're heavily used in go-go. I play the keyboard as well, and I'll be banging the cowbell up there during the sockets and stuff like that. So yeah, I
Okay.
aspire to learn to play the guitar, both bass and lead guitar. So yeah,
Okay. Question in the chat: are you able to live by yourself?
yes, I've
Yes.
actually lived by myself. For it was for 9 months. I was in a program, if you don't mind me going into that.
Oh no, I don't
Because
mind.
that program is called Blind Industries and Services in Maryland. So I actually had to move to Baltimore, and that move for me was a pivotal point in my life, for real. Like without me going there, I really wouldn't be how I am and who I am today, because it helped me to build character, it helped me to build confidence, it helped me to develop more humility,
Mm-hmm.
um, awareness of self and my surroundings. There's so many things that I had to experience in order to grow as a man there. I'm
Mm.
talking doing life alone, right? I had a roommate, but he was blind ever since he was 3.
Okay.
And people think I'm like Daredevil. That boy is amazing. Okay.
Okay.
Um, and he used to teach me things, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Mm-hmm.
I used to wonder, like, bro, how did you walk in a straight line, bro? Like, how do you do that? Like, because if you could imagine, right, when you're walking in a certain direction, your head is facing that direction.
Right.
But as a blind person, our ears work 10 times over time. So if something catches my ear and I'm thinking I'm heading in a direction, 9 times out of 10, I'm drifting towards what I hear, either left or right.
Okay.
And so that was something. Walking home from this spot called Nando's, we made a turn and it was icy outside. When I tell you we had to skate back to the apartment, boy, Man, I done had to catch, the bus out there, the light rail out there, the Mark train, Amtrak. I've flown independently, and it was all due to the development of that program. Learning how to access the computer, work my phone better. Just it just made life a lot more accessible. I learned how to cook. You know what
Mm,
I'm saying? I was
mm.
already clean. Like my mother ain't playing that. I'm
Right,
clean.
right.
You gotta clean up, bro. You gotta make it big. You gotta. It's a lot of things you gotta do,
Right.
and that was one thing that I was able to enlighten him on, because some black people just dirty, like they think that they're clean, but you
Mm-hmm.
missed the spot, bro. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? And I was able to make things, I was able to help them visualize the way that I did things.
Okay.
And you know what I'm saying, we just glean from each other's experience, for real. So yeah,
Yeah.
Bism was, yeah.
My father lost his sight
Okay.
later in life from a degenerative eye disease.
Okay.
And so he went to a similar program where they
Okay.
had to teach him how to live without his sight.
Hmm.
And so he seemed like he enjoyed it.
Nothing
So,
like independence.
yes, absolutely. Um, we have another question. Were you ever angry about what you lost? And if so, how did you overcome being angry?
Was I ever angry? I mean, I get mad all the time, but at what I lost, honestly, I can't remember ever. No, it's just, it's one thing to hear who God is, and it's
Mm-hmm.
another thing to know who He is. So the fact that I was still here when I woke up and I was leaning on my mom, I forgave the person that shot me then and there, because at
Oh,
that
good.
moment I knew what the devil meant for evil, God meant for good. You
Mm-hmm.
understand? Like, it takes being brought up in that to really be able to have it come to life when it really needs to. Because I had the opportunity, I had the option of being angry. And I
Right.
don't walk like I'm perfect at all. You know what I'm saying? We all
Right.
fall short of the glory. However, I never allowed myself the time, because it's too much time. I have too much time to do other things. I don't want to waste my time being stuck in a mood. You know what I'm saying? Being stuck in the past and things of that nature. So I didn't hold on to my trauma at all. No, not at
Good.
all.
That's so awesome because your life could have been very different
Hmm.
if you had held on to the trauma, the anger, the why me, and all of that.
I could
Uh,
have been in jail
oh, for sure.
like this. Real,
Eh,
real, real spill. It could have been another way. I could have totally pivoted from accepting the fact that this happened to me, right?
mhm.
Embracing the new life and the new journey that I have to embark on. And I could have just turned to everybody that wanted me to be, everybody that was just being negative. I've literally changed the minds of anyone who's spoken to me regarding my situation. Any and everybody that feels like, dang, bro, I don't know how you do it. How you, man, I mean, you wouldn't want to continue to live?
Right.
That's my question to people. Like, let's live life because it's worth living, man.
Yes, it is, and that's such an uh, positive way to think about it and to navigate your life around
Yeah,
because it could be so much worse.
right,
Uh, and so I just can't imagine like what your parents went through when you
right.
experienced trauma and not knowing how you were going to be able to deal with it on the other side of the surgeries and stuff, and
Mhm.
understanding that now this blindness is a permanent thing.
Right.
Parents, our kids get on our nerves and all of that, but we certainly don't want anything to happen to them.
Yeah.
And when something does happen, we're the first ones to kick into gear to try to fix it. And so I can't even imagine as a parent being in a position where you can't fix it, and just knowing how to help you get to the best place that you could be in to be able to live your life and go forward. So
I had a
kudos,
village.
yes, kudos to your village because that had to be
Well,
very important. Um, and so,
I wanted to say something
oh,
because
go ahead.
you kind of sparked a thought. Because my parents, like my dad and my mom, were just very intentional about me, right, during this situation, especially in the hospital. My mother
Hmm.
was not playing. She didn't accept negative energy. She had a whole nurse removed from the entire floor that I was on because she was speaking negatively. My mom
Mm,
was like, "But he's not dead. He can
hmm.
still hear. We're not doing that." You know what I mean? And
Yes.
even and so me hearing those stories and just being embraced and loved and nurtured during that situation, it helped me build that inner confidence
Hmm.
to the point where like I didn't cry out of sadness or anything like that. You know what I'm saying? It was all to the glory of God. However, when we were in court, you know what I'm saying, for the situation, that was the first time that I realized how strong I was being for everybody else.
Hmm.
And I didn't know if it was breaking me or not.
Oh,
You get what I'm saying?
yeah.
Like, because I've always been somebody that people could call on. Always been somebody like an ear to bend, somebody with advice. I mean, I'm a Virgo, so it just comes with the territory for real.
Woo, I got a Virgo son too. Uh-oh.
And so, I was, talking to the judge, and I was saying, I do this and I do that, and I'm so able and I'm so capable, and I'm glad to be here and glad to be alive. I said, but it's hard. And once I said that and it resonated with me, I'm like, it's so difficult trying to be strong because if I cry, you
Mm,
cry.
yes.
If you cry, they cry. You know what I'm saying? Like it's literally a
Yes.
domino effect. So I don't want to walk around broken because everybody else they're not going to know how to pick up the pieces. So yeah, you kind of sparked that thought. And yeah, yeah,
Oh, I
yeah.
can imagine.
Hmm.
And then, a lot of times, particularly as African Americans, we
Yeah.
carry a lot of burden. And
Right,
we know that depending on the situation, somebody is carrying more of a burden than everybody else.
right.
And we understand the importance of our role in carrying those burdens. And
Hmm.
so we do, try to figure out how to navigate through it without breaking down, without letting it get the best of us so that it does not impact others around us.
Right.
But being able to share your story is just so important because this could be any of us, right? We have a question that says, do you speak publicly to young people about avoiding violence or violent situations?
I have in the past.
Hmm.
I haven't recently. I would love to. Like I literally would love to. Like I told you the other day, how can somebody pass their test if they don't hear my testimony? You
Mm,
know what I'm saying? And that
yes.
goes for other people that have been through things as well. You know what I'm saying? Because if I've been around the corner and I can prevent you from falling how I feel when I came around that corner, like I would love to do that. So I have and I will. And yeah, like, hit me up, please. I would love to if you have anybody that I could speak with.
Oh yeah, definitely. Because we need more, particularly men in the
Hmm.
African American community. Talking to our younger men and really, and with your testimony being so powerful, I can only imagine that there are young men in the community who would see your story, and first there will be some that would say that will never be me.
Right.
Then there would be some who would say, well, he must have been slipping. He must, didn't have his heat on him. He should have had his heat. He should have learned to, all that craziness. And then there will be some who will say, I don't necessarily want this to be my future. And so I'm going to self correct and I'm going to walk a different path. And those
Right.
are the people that we need to reach,
Hmm.
those that are reachable. And so, if I hear of some opportunities, I will certainly let them know about you, because I just
Please.
think, we need more mentors in our communities to, help these younger people who are struggling in life, mostly through no fault of their own, just by, their upbringing and their community, and not having a strong support system like you had.
Yes.
Um, we need more of that. And so let's talk about the music, because I'm telling you, I was jamming. I was like, see, this is what I'm talking about.
Right.
When I was listening, so first let's talk about your current album, your
Okay.
EP. Excuse me, I'm
Yeah.
I'm dating myself. EP. Um, you have 5 songs on the EP,
Yes.
and the name of the EP is Magnificent.
Mm-hmm.
And so one of the songs that you have on there is called Magnificent.
Mm-hmm.
And that vibe on that song is everything.
Yeah.
The rap lyrics, I was trying to describe it in my mind.
Mm-hmm.
It was so, like, the beat was a vibe, but the rap lyrics were just so smooth and calm. It wasn't like a hard rap like some rappers do. It's so hard you really can't understand what they saying.
Mm-hmm.
And then being able to look at the lyrics,
Mm-hmm.
um was very helpful, because I could really then get into the music and not, be so busy trying to figure out what you were saying,
Right.
because your rap is just so smooth that you
Do you
could
feel like I was
literally,
rapping?
and part of it,
Uh,
the way you just rapped your story about being shot, it was that kind
uh-huh.
of.
So I didn't necessarily rap on this project. I guess there's a to me every record on this project has like a bop to it. Like there's a rock, right? However, there's melody with it. So we call that it wouldn't even be melodic rap. It's more like hip hop and R&B, if you can put that into perspective.
I could see
Because
that.
so like I'm not necessarily rapping, it's just like I'm not singing everything out like a ballad. Like this is
Right,
not, a chair is still a chair. You know what I'm saying? It's
right,
not
right.
that. It's more, like upbeat in a sense.
You know
So yeah.
whose music it reminded me of?
Who?
Malcolm Jamal Warner
I
from the
don't know.
Cosby Show.
Oh wow,
He
I didn't
played
know he
Theo
did
on the
music.
Cosby Show.
I know Theo, but I didn't know he had music.
Oh yes, he got music, and it's
Okay.
nice.
Okay,
And
cool.
it kind of put me in that vibe. It has a great
Okay.
vibe, and
Hmm.
or maybe it's more. Is it more like spoken word?
Um I mean, to each his own. I'm honestly, this is the first time I've heard my music broken down like this, and I'm honored. Like I love the perspective. You know what I'm saying? Like you get with it, you get from it what you will, and I'm appreciative for that.
Yes. So we have a question. How was Magnificent birth?
Mm. Honestly, Magnificent was birthed by me receiving a what we call a pack of beats from my engineer who was also my producer. Shout out to MK Beats, right?
Mm-hmm.
Also a guy I went to high school with, but that's who I record with. And there, who how was it birthed? Okay, me starting this project with him was very scary because he is produced and engineered on such a grand scale. Like he's worked with Fabulous Wale and other dominant artists in this area as well. And
Okay.
so I just felt like my bag had to be, on a trailer being pulled behind me, not just carried. I felt like I needed a deep duffel to deal with him, not knowing that all I needed to do was ask him, you know, what you gonna charge me? Because the first question, like I said before, is what's your budget? And that question just boggles my mind because I hustle. I do music to make money, and
Right.
I don't necessarily have a certain amount that I make each month to say my salary is this. So I don't
Right.
know what my budget is. So he gave me something to work with, and when he sent me the beats, and Give or Take is the first track on the EP. That's
Uh-huh.
the first beat that I liked. And so I went to my manager's house and was just recording like a rough draft of something because I don't normally create over there, but I did, and I created with my girl Rose that I go to church with. That's why I met her at. She's also a writer,
Okay.
and me hearing her perspective, it really it excited me in writing with someone else that's quick with it, that also is like she we operate on the same frequency too. And so her exposure, her experience coming with mine, it just made such a great blend. And the project was really birthed off of me just being free and allowing a
Mm.
beat to speak to me,
Mm-hmm.
and then I create the vibe from the song that it brings. Like I don't like to go against the grain when it comes to music. I also enjoy a challenge though. So I
Okay.
will pick a beat that I'm not used to. People hear my voice when they hear a song like Everlasting or Nonstop and think that I'm supposed to do traditional R&B. And
Mm-hmm.
I'm not trying to rebel against anyone else's expectations. However, I want to always be versatile. I want to be able to do what it feels like that I'm not able to. So
Right.
on this project, I really just allowed the beats to speak to me, and I allowed the way that I felt to help me choose a beat. Prime example. When I was on my way to the studio to record the song Magnificent, I
Uh-huh.
just kept saying, I need something sexy. Like I haven't created that. I'll have suggestive lyrics in certain songs, but I'm
Right.
like, I ain't got it sexy enough in a while. I need to take it there. And so
And you did
that beat,
that.
man,
You did that.
man, that was the goal. And so I just allowed it to be free. I don't like to create at home. I like to go to the studio and come alive in the booth. You get what I'm saying? So
Yes.
that it's candid. I want people to be able to vibe with me and not feel like I'm forcing them along with me. Like I want you to follow willingly. So
Right.
that's really how the records were. That's how that song and then those songs were birthed. But the title, listen, we all sit upon the throne, and that's what we think a lot.
Right.
And so I had a couple different titles, but Magnificent was the second one that I came up with. And I was trying to run from it because I already had, that song on the album, this, that, and the third, the EP or whatever. And when I told my engineer and I told my manager, they like, yep, that's it. And so I started to think about the process of creating it and actually spending all of my money. I didn't have any help funding this project. Every
Okay.
dime that went into every beat, every studio session, every mixing, every mastering, the cover art, and everything all came from me and my work. So, I'm a new father.
Mm-hmm.
My son just turned 1, and I'm doing my thing, raising him along with his mom and my family. Like our village is going like we're going crazy, but I just feel like me as a man being able to do that independently. I felt
Mm.
like I was really living in my own glory. Like I've never been more proud of myself
You can ready
doing
make
things.
me go to church. Come on now. I love it. Yes, speak
Yeah,
all of that into existence.
yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
So I liked all five songs. Let me just say that. I
Thank you,
listened multiple times to all five songs.
thank you.
Magnificent definitely got my attention
Uh
because that
huh.
was the first one I listened to.
Okay.
But I also liked, and I love the titles of your songs, but I
Mm-hmm.
also liked Talk is Cheap
Ah,
because talk is cheap.
ain't it? Ain't it? Ain't it? You gotta show me something.
Show me something because talk is
Yes.
cheap. And
Mm-hmm.
then don't answer.
Ooh.
I
That
love
that
the lyrics of Don't Answer.
don't answer. Don't answer is a song you either love it or you be trying to front like you hate it. Cause it's calling you because you've been there, done that. You know what I'm
Right,
saying?
exactly.
Like don't answer speaks to that player that's inside of everybody. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Right.
you've been there before in some form or fashion, and you try to, man, listen. Don't answer is a vibe.
It
When I tell
is.
you, when I was coming up with that joint, I couldn't keep still in the studio. Soon as the beat dropped, I'm like, what? Man, that song was fun creating.
Oh, I
So
bet.
fun.
I bet. And when people listen to your music, like you said, people can relate because they've been through it, right?
Yeah.
And the like I said, the music, the beats on it is just a vibe on all of your songs. And
Thank you.
it brings you back to, I'm getting ready to date myself. It brings you back to like the 70s and 80s when music, when
Okay.
you could just like bop your head to it and you didn't have to get up and twerk and all of that kind of
Mm-hmm.
stuff. But and then the way that you tell the story in your music, I just absolutely fell in love. So I have a question in the chat that says,
Okay.
where can we purchase your music?
Okay, so if you want to purchase it on either streaming platform, I just know how to do it on iTunes. So instead of going through your Apple Music app, you go to iTunes itself and you type in Envision, Envizion, and then you type in Magnificent. You can spell that hopefully, and you gotta let the EP pop up, and you can buy like the entire EP. It's only like $4.95. I think it's like 99 cent per track or what have you. And you can buy it outright that way. Cause you know what I'm saying? Download it. I try to educate my people,
Okay, come on,
downloading it
educate us.
because you have downloading a song because you have a digital streaming platform does not benefit the artist, especially if we use things like what was it called? DistroKid, right?
Hmm.
It allows us to put our music out there, but you downloading it and listening to it only gives us like a percentage of a penny per
Mm,
listen, not even 1 cent. You get what I'm
I've
saying?
heard those like
Yeah, I've
deals.
learned that like major labels have entire buildings filled with computers that just spin people's, what I'm saying, spin their artists' music. That's how they get all of these great, numbers and stuff on the chart. So, if y'all really want to, what I'm saying, pour into my life, y'all can, just buy it outright, $4.95. If you got Tidal or Spotify, it's probably the same way. You know what I'm
Okay.
saying? You just go and buy it versus just downloading it. And when you buy it, if the song was to get taken down or anything, I mean that's not gonna happen. But if you don't have any service or something like that, like you can still listen to it because it's all the way embedded in your phone. So yeah,
And so can so I use look, I'm getting ready to ask for some personal training here.
got you.
Okay, so you said iTunes. Okay, so I got iTunes. So I will go on
Mm-hmm.
iTunes and make sure I purchase it,
Mm-hmm. Yes,
um, so that you reap the benefits of that. Um,
exactly.
Also, with your music, I know you had an experience
Okay.
where you were in a musical. Tell us how that
Mm-hmm.
came about.
Oh man, so I learned about DC Black Broadway and the Giz. One of my friends that I used to hang with, I think it was her. Yeah, she told me about it because she picked me up from another one of my friends' house. And I was nervous, right? I didn't know nothing that I was getting into. I literally, okay, so this is a special shout out to my boy Chris from TOB. It's a band, takeover band in DC.
Okay.
Um, just watching or like through social media, watching him, listening to him just be such a pioneer in go-go. He's like he comes from the city and he makes his band worth it and worthy to so many people. He can sing and he's always putting himself on different platforms for his band, for himself, but for his band. He represents TOB wherever he goes. And I always felt like he was just such a great example on how to expose yourself or how to promote yourself to different things. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
And so I noticed that he was a part of something prior to, and I asked him, I said, how do you get a part of these things? Like everybody calling your name, but I can sing too, bro. Like, what's up? You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not scared. And so he told me, but it kind of like went through one end out the other. And then when I linked up with the girl that I was with, her name is T. She used to sing with that band, and so she was going to try out as well. So we went down to the Arc in Southeast, and I went and I wasn't trying to act because I didn't necessarily know what that entailed, and it's a Broadway type musical. We gonna just sing like a bird. And so I went in, and before going in, I was speaking with the lady. I cannot remember her name. Oh my God, her name escapes me. But whatever. She entered me in because her father was blind. So,
Okay.
we talked, what I'm saying, spoke some good words to each other, and I could tell she was a little emotional. And I think she stood in there while I did my audition. And I sang what's the song? Superstar by Luther Vandross.
Mm-hmm.
When I tell you, you could have heard a fly fart in there, it was so quiet. And they like, just tell me what your name is, da 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 da, how you doing, what's your na. I gave my spiel, and I just burst out singing. Don't you remember you told me you love me, baby? You know what I'm saying? And it's
Yes. Come on, Envision. Yes.
and by the time I was done, there wasn't a dry eye in there. I heard
Oh,
all
I
the
bet.
sniffles and all this and that. Man, the lady that walked me in there, walked me out. She was crying so hard. I'm like, oh my goodness, did I really just do this? I came back to the next audition. They were prepared. Same song. Broke them down again. I said, oh Lord, we are in for something. So after that, I got my call back, and I started to attend the performances, not the performances, but the rehearsals.
Okay.
Listening to the script. It was for the Wiz, but DC's go-go version of the Giz.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, I'm I was asked to write a song because they didn't have a specific part for me.
Okay.
But because my voice was what it was for them, what's his name? Lavelle. He couldn't see the play going on without me. He like, I need you to produce a beat. I need you to bring me a song. Whatever you got to do, I need you to do it. So I linked up with my little bro. His name is Manny, and we created the beat. But I had a vocal coach named Michael who actually helped me in producing the song, and we called it "Welcome to Chocolate City" because
Okay.
Chocolate City was where the Giz lived, like Emerald City, I guess is what it's called in the Wiz, right?
Right.
And so I just, made a song about DC, what I'm saying? Uptown, Southwest, Northeast, and Southeast. And really just talked about Chuck Brown and Mumbo Sauce and all of these different things. And was able to just make it to where it worked. And it was to a go-go beat, you know what I'm saying? And it was like,
Yes.
welcome to Chocolate City. Welcome to Chocolate City. That was the hook.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And
I'm over here partying, just
yeah,
so you know.
it was a jam. And who to get out there, and they literally created the entire like scene
Yes.
about like around me and my performance. You know what I'm
Oh,
saying? Because
good.
at first it was going to be showcasing me, but I wasn't going to be like the main act. I was going to be opening up the scene.
Yes.
However, they transitioned it into a situation where Dorothy, well, her name was Dottie, her and the crew were walking up trying to get into the club, and the bouncer was like, well, y'all need to hurry up because y'all gonna miss Rose. Because Rose is who I go by and go here. And
Okay.
so they're like, y'all gonna miss Rose. And then when they actually walked into Chocolate City, I started singing. And man, that was the most amazing feeling. Everybody in there jamming, just clapping their hands and all that. I had my two little girls with me, like my, I don't know what you would call them, arms. I don't know. They was
But-
flanking me, dancing all around me and stuff. It felt amazing every night. Every night it was so tight, and everybody loved it. I loved the play. They loved me. It was just, man, listen, it was amazing. I've never been. I just used to be scared to do stuff like that. You get what I'm
oh,
saying?
wow.
and then just go through and embody the whole character and have fun. And to this day, every time Chris sees me, welcome to Chocolate City. Every time he see me, I'm telling you, yeah.
Look, I need to know how many names you go by. I'd heard at least three.
All right, so I don't know how I can count because they call me Mister I Don't See Nobody. They call me the Blind Sensation, Rose, Envision. Some people call me Rose. Some people call me Zay Zay. Um, I don't know, man. You know, we're not
I,
gonna
I
get into
wanted
all
to
the names.
Right. I wanted to capture all your names on here so when people are watching it on the playback, they
Yeah.
can and they need to go out and they see, particularly people in the DMV, they
Mm-hmm.
see one of those names, they'll know exactly who it is and will be
Exactly.
willing to come and support you. So
Mm-hmm.
before I let you go,
Okay.
um, I want to say thank you, thank you, thank you for trusting me to have this conversation with you, first of all.
Right.
Um, I also want to thank you for being so willing to share your testimony because as you said, people can't pass their test if they don't know your testimony.
Right.
And so I think that is like so awesome that we share your testimony. I call him Daddy Man. All right, Daddy. All right, Isaiah.
Yeah, man.
I call him Daddy Man. That's funny. Um, so wait, before I let you go though, tell us about your baby boy.
Now that's my daddy, man. You know what I'm saying? My father called me that growing up, and it came out naturally when he was born. So my son's name is Zamari, and his name is actually it actually means my music, my praise.
Okay.
Uh-huh. And he just turned one on the 26th of October. He's a bundle of joy, little chunky man. They say he look like me. Sometimes they say he look like his mom or my sister or whoever, but he has so much personality, he's so attentive. He means business. He's just like the light of my world. Like he really just when I found out his mom was pregnant, it shifted me into a totally different gear. Like I've never saved like I saved before. Like growing, I used to hear all my friends talk about stuff. Bro, my son is in daycare now. You can't tell me nothing. You can't borrow nothing. You listen. Listen. Watch out. Bills got to get paid
I
for
know
real.
that's
For real.
right.
For real. For real. Like, but it's definitely a time, and I know it's a time that's going to be had for the rest of my life and his. You know what I mean?
Yes.
But I just I never saw this for me, but I didn't. I did
Okay.
not see it for me.
Okay.
But once like I just feel right into the role, and I'm always asking questions. Like I don't think I have it all, but
Right.
I love to experience. I love to learn him.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So it's a great thing. Like being a father is just a great thing. It's a wonderful, it's a humbling experience. It's scary at times. You know what I'm saying? It's trying at times, because his mom is his mom and I'm his dad. We are two individuals, so sometimes we be at each other's necks, but ultimately it's all for the betterment of him. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So yeah,
Yes.
he definitely has a true village though. I'm talking about super duper. That boy don't want for nothing.
Have you ever heard the saying that whatever you gave to your parents, your kids will give to you?
Ooh, so I'm just praying. I rebuke that. Um, oh my gosh, because if I could think back in the words of Michael Jackson and remember the time, Jesus. Oh, I think about it all the time because I see it in the way my niece is with my brother. I'm like, nigga, that's you. That is you. Are you kidding me? And so one thing I don't do is I don't tease him. I don't
Uh-huh.
because I know what's on the way for me. I'm
Yes.
just trying to really prepare for something I don't think I'm ever gonna be able to prepare for.
Right.
So I'm really just trying to just wrap my mind around it. Like he already tries to get smart with me in Google. So just imagine once Google turns into real words, I just
Right.
gotta learn how to keep my hands to myself.
There you go. Well, I don't know.
I almost be like, bro, who you talking to, bro? Like, you know what you mean, and that's enough for me. The fact that you know what you mean, nah, bro. Watch your tone, all right?
Well, I'm gonna tell you this: get ready for the ride.
Woo, woo.
Yes, and your parents are
Hmm.
gonna be right there in your ear saying, "Mm-hmm."
They
That's
spoil
all
him.
that.
They spoil him rotten. So
Of
that's
course.
a trying. That's a trying situation within itself. Like my dad, he got my dad wrapped around his whole hand. Like seriously, bro. Like I'm like, come on, man. Let the boy be a boy on his
He
own.
wasn't like that with you.
He probably was, which is probably why, you know, certain things transpired the way they did. But I'm just, I ain't gonna live through my boy. I'm gonna let him, grow up and be his own guy. But
Yeah, absolutely.
shoot, I'm
But
gonna love him.
that's what they I hear about grandparents. They are very different with the grandkids than they were with their own kids, and so um, you're gonna be on your own with a lot of that.
My dad is a Leo and a know-it-all. So I feel like what he did once, if he felt like it worked, he gonna keep doing it.
Yes, absolutely.
Hmm.
Gonna be just like
Hmm.
you.
He
I
gonna be
have
like,
a
I didn't do
visitor.
that with you. Did I do that with you? I'm like, how am I supposed to know that?
Wait a minute,
Boy
hold
is
on.
1 year old.
I have a visitor here with me in Vision,
Okay.
dressed for Halloween in his Halloween costume. Who are you, sir?
I think everybody knows who I am.
Oh, you Frankenstein?
No, I'm Jigsaw.
Oh, I don't know who no
I don't
Jigsaw.
even know who
It's
Jigsaw
Jigsaw.
is.
This,
It's
this,
Don't
Jigsaw.
hurt.
this,
Don't hurt
this
him, Jiggy.
Vision. This is my Virgo son.
Oh, what's up? What's up, twin? How you doing, bro?
And he hasn't grown out of trick or treating yet.
Man, listen, I wasn't able to trick or treat, from when I was young. I remember the first time my dad like told me I could go, and then we ended up getting home and it was too late, and I was devastated. I cried myself to sleep that night, and then I ended up learning about the darkness and things of that nature, and I just was like, outside is off limits on the 31st. When I get home from school, you come in the house, and that's it. So the first time I went trick or treating, I was in high school, and my mother knew it. She gave me this look like I know you going. Boy, I went and rocked up so much candy, and it didn't mean much to me. I'm like trick or treat. I'm so got a deep voice trick or treat. You know what I'm saying? Like it did not hit the same. I'm like, can I have some candy? You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, it didn't
I
hit the
know that.
same. So
I
we
know
was gonna
that's
take
right.
my son trunk or treating, but this was. I'm sorry, this was more important. I'm
There
sorry.
you go. Hey,
He'll get
he
it where
won't
he
know
can
the
walk
difference
around.
anyway. He got plenty of time to hit that
He
stuff
got a he
up.
got a candy bag from daycare, and it went right in my book bag. You're
Right,
welcome.
exactly.
You're welcome. Yes,
So,
Lord.
all right, sit back for me for a minute.
Okay.
I'm gonna take you off the screen again. Thank you so very much. I have enjoyed this conversation. Again, I appreciate your willingness to share your testimony and tell us about your music because we are going to support you in your music
Hmm.
career. And I am definitely, as soon as I hang up, I am definitely going to go and pay for your EP. I want all the
Hmm.
songs because I'm adding them to my playlist so
Thank you.
I could be in the car jamming all the time.
Well, thank you, and thank y'all for listening, man. I hope y'all got something good out of my testimony, out of my story. Hopefully, y'all get something good out of my music, and be on the lookout because some things are gonna be coming up soon. I'm getting right back in the studio. Probably drop a single for y'all real soon. So y'all be on the lookout for Envision, man. Got some big things planned for the future.
All right, cool. Sit tight for me because I'm going to do my what the hell segment and then
Okay.
we going to end this stream.
Mm-hmm.
So, thank you all for joining in on Let's Get Into It. I have enjoyed this episode so much. I think it's so important to highlight, positiveness and people who are, living their life and walking that walk. But let's talk about what the hell. What the hell happened last Sunday between the Bears and the Commanders? Now, I know many of you all saw me go live on social media towards the end of the game because I just knew we had that game in the bag. And guess what? We didn't. Not only did we not have it in the bag, they won on a Hail Mary. And in that video, I was like, what the hell? How did that happen? Why can't we ever win games like that? I will tell you that live got a lot of views and a lot of comments, and you all are absolutely hysterical. You had me in stitches with the comments, especially after you watched the entire video and saw that I actually saw in real time on the live the Hail Mary being caught in the end zone. So yes, I was asking myself, what the hell? And as many of you all know, my husband is a Commander fan, so we always have a divided house when the Bears play the Commanders, and it goes back and forth who's gonna win, who's gonna lose. But this year they got us, and I tell you what, it was not good. And so with that, I am going to leave you with root for your team. Stand 10 toes down for your team, no matter what. You cannot be a fair weather fan. Stick with your team, and you will not have to ask yourself, what the hell? Thank you all for joining me. I appreciate it. And I look forward to you all joining me in 2 weeks when I do my next episode. Have a great day. Thank you for joining and participating in Let's Get Into It. I want to thank my special guest for being brave enough to get into it. Without you, these conversations cannot happen. Remember, different viewpoints, respect, and love are the foundations of Let's Get Into It. If there's a topic you think I should discuss, drop me a recommendation. If you're interested in being my special guest, let me know, because we can and will get into it. Have a great day on purpose, and I look forward to your continued engagement and support as we get into it.